Have you ever been absolutely certain that you placed your car keys on the kitchen counter, only to find them hours later inside the refrigerator? Did you laugh it off, thinking you were just tired? Careful, your mind might be under a covert, systematic attack. There is a psychological warfare tactic so destructive that intelligence agencies use it to break the sanity of high-profile prisoners without leaving a single bruise. And the most terrifying part? The person you trust the most in your life could be using it against you right now, in secret. In the next few minutes, you will discover the hidden mechanics of cognitive erosion. Pay close attention, because your reality depends on it. Most people think that psychological manipulation is loud. They imagine screaming matches, obvious insults, and aggressive behavior. But the true masters of dark psychology detest noise. Noise leaves evidence. Noise makes the victim fight back. Instead, they use a technique known as micro-shifting. Micro-shifting is the art of altering your physical or conversational environment by mere millimeters. A master manipulator will enter your home or workspace and move a small object you use every day. A book, your wallet, a document, just a few inches from its original spot. When you ask them if they saw it, they will look you dead in the eye with absolute warmth and say, "No, it's exactly where you left it. You've been so stressed lately you're probably forgetting things." This is not a casual lie. It is the initial placement of a mental virus. The human brain relies on external consistency to validate its internal sanity. By changing small details in your physical reality, and then denying the change with absolute conviction, the manipulator forces your brain to do something catastrophic. They force your mind to stop trusting its own sensory data. They aren't trying to win an argument. They are slowly dismantling the foundation of your cognitive security. But this physical micro-shifting is only the setup for the real trap. Once your brain begins to doubt its environment, the manipulator deploys a terrifying linguistic weapon called the Reality Inversion Script. If you hear this specific sentence structure even once during a disagreement, you must realize that your sanity is actively being targeted. When a normal person makes a mistake or gets caught in a contradiction, their brain experiences cognitive dissonance, leading to a desire to clarify or apologize. When a dark psychologist gets caught, they flip the entire script upside down. Let's say you find concrete proof, a text message, a financial statement, or a clear lie. A normal liar will make an excuse. A master manipulator will use the reality inversion. They will look at the evidence, look back at you, and say with a tone of profound disappointment, "I can't believe your insecurity is making you distort things like this again. It breaks my heart that you are weaponizing your imagination to attack me." Notice what just happened. In less than 10 seconds, the objective evidence completely vanished from the conversation. The topic is no longer their betrayal. The topic is now your mental stability, your insecurity, and your apparent cruelty toward them. Your brain, shocked by the audacity of the claim, goes into overdrive. You stop focusing on the proof and start defending your character. You find yourself apologizing to the person who actually committed the offense. This is chemical warfare for the mind. By successfully executing a reality inversion, the manipulator triggers a massive spike of cortisol in your system, blinding your logical cortex and leaving you completely vulnerable to their next move. Now, you might think you can just show the proof to someone else to validate your sanity. Do not do that yet. If you try to bring an outside witness before understanding the echo chamber effect, the manipulator will use that exact move to permanently isolate you from everyone who could save you. Let us examine how they turn your closest allies into your mental jailers. A predator knows that human beings are tribal creatures. We check our sanity by talking to our pack. If 3 of your friends tell you that you are overreacting, you will believe them, even if your gut tells you otherwise. Therefore, a master manipulator never limits their work to your conversations alone. They create the echo chamber. Behind your back, using a tone of deep, loving concern, they begin to plant micro-lies about you to your closest friends or coworkers. They will say things like, "I'm really worried about them. They're working so hard they're starting to misinterpret basic conversations. Just be extra gentle with them right now, okay?" This is pure genius. They aren't insulting you to your friends. They are pretending to protect you. Now look at the trap. The next time you feel manipulated and go to your friend to complain, your friend's brain immediately recalls the manipulator's loving warning. Your friend will look at you and say, "Hey, maybe you're just tired. They really love you. I'm sure they didn't mean it that way." The trap snaps shut. Your outside lifeline has just confirmed the manipulator's lie. Your brain now experiences total isolation. You think, if my own friends think I'm crazy, maybe I really am losing my mind. At this precise moment, you surrender your free will. You return to the manipulator, begging for their version of reality, because they have become the only person left in your world. This is the exact threshold of psychological slavery. But do not despair. There is a legendary behavioral anomaly, a specific structural flaw in the manipulator's psychology that allows you to shatter the echo chamber in a single evening. It requires you to execute the controlled deviation protocol. To break a closed loop, you must never argue with the manipulator, and you must never try to convince your friends that they are lying. Defending your sanity only reinforces their narrative that you are unstable. Instead, you must use the controlled deviation. The next time the manipulator tries to micro-shift your reality or use a reality inversion script, look at them with a completely blank, dead expression. Do not show anger. Do not show sadness. Say exactly 4 words in a flat, clinical tone. I accept your perspective. And then, do something entirely unpredictable. If they expect you to stay home and cry, get up, dress in your best clothes, and leave the house without saying where you are going. If they expect you to text them an apology, turn your phone off for 6 hours. What does this do to their psychological matrix? It causes immediate systemic panic. A manipulator's entire power dynamic relies on predictability. They have mapped your emotional triggers like a piano. They press a key, and they expect a specific note. When they press the self-doubt key, and your mind plays a note of absolute unbothered autonomy, their brain experiences a massive power surge of anxiety. By refusing to provide the expected reaction, you force the manipulator to step out of the shadows. In their panic to regain control, they will make their first loud, aggressive mistake in front of witnesses. This protocol will break their composure, but you must be prepared for their counter-retaliation. When a master manipulator realizes their covert tactics are failing, they will escalate the war to the ultimate dark psychology technique, somatic gaslighting. This is where they stop attacking your memory and start actively programming your physical health and bodily sensations to make you completely dependent on them. When a covert predator realizes that your mind is resisting their reality inversion scripts, they will immediately switch their attack vector. They will move from your memory to your physical biology. This is what advanced behavioral psychology calls somatic gaslighting. They will stop saying, "You forgot what happened," and they will start saying, "You look incredibly sick." Imagine waking up feeling perfectly fine. You walk into the kitchen, and the manipulator looks at you with a sudden expression of deep, intense horror and worry. They rush over to you, touch your forehead, and say, "Oh my God, you are trembling. Your skin is completely pale. Are you having trouble breathing? Please go sit down immediately." Your brain is incredibly suggestible, especially when the suggestion comes from someone close to you. The moment they plant the seed of physical illness, your autonomic nervous system reacts. Your heart rate actually begins to increase. Your palms sweat. Your brain, searching for an explanation for this sudden anxiety, connects it to the manipulator's words. Within 5 minutes, you actually start to feel sick. Why do they do this? A sick, weak, or physically exhausted victim cannot fight back. By convincing you that your body is failing, they achieve 2 things. First, they isolate you further, making you stay home. Second, they position themselves as your ultimate savior and nurse. You become entirely dependent on them for your physical survival, handing them total dominion over your life. Somatic gaslighting is a terrifying escalation because it can actually induce real physical autoimmune responses over time due to chronic stress. But there is a flawless defensive maneuver derived from behavioral biofeedback that allows you to completely reverse this biological attack in real time, forcing the manipulator to absorb the very illness they tried to fake. To defeat somatic gaslighting, you must never argue with their diagnosis. If you say, "No, I feel great," they will counter with, "See, you're completely out of touch with your own body. This is a classic symptom of burnout." Instead, you must utilize the biofeedback shield. The absolute second they try to project a physical symptom onto you, look down at your own hands, take a slow, deep breath, and smile gently. Then, look them directly in the eyes and say in an incredibly calm, clinical voice, My resting heart rate and oxygen levels are completely optimal today, but thank you for sharing your anxiety with me. Notice the linguistic genius of that final phrase. Thank you for sharing your anxiety with me. By using those exact words, you refuse to absorb their projection. Instead, you instantly flip the psychological mirror. You are labeling their worry as an internal flaw in their mental state, not a reality in your body. You are effectively telling their subconscious, I am perfectly healthy. You are the one who is anxious and projecting illness. When you repeat this shield consistently, the manipulator's brain experiences a massive frustration loop. They realize that their biological remote control has been disconnected, and their own body will begin to generate the stress hormones they tried to inflict on you. Once you cut off their ability to manipulate your mind, your circle, and your body, the covert predator will become truly desperate. They will resort to their absolute final weapon, a devastating tactic known as the manufactured emergency. They will fake a massive crisis to force you to break your silence. Let us examine how to spot this trap before you run straight back into their arms. You have gone silent. You are using the controlled deviation protocol. You are ignoring their reality inversions, and your health is protected by the biofeedback shield. The manipulator is losing all their power, and they know it. This is when the phone calls start at 3 a.m., a mutual friend calls you, panicking, or you receive a frantic message from the manipulator. There's been a terrible accident, or I'm having a severe medical emergency and I'm outside the hospital, or everything is ruined, I need your help right now. Your primal reptilian brain is hardwired for empathy and crisis response. Your adrenaline surges. Your instinct tells you to drop your boundaries, forget the past, and run to save them. This is the manufactured emergency. In 90% of cases, the crisis is completely fabricated or massively exaggerated. It is a psychological fishhook designed to catch your empathy and drag you back into the dynamic of control. The moment you show up at the hospital or answer that frantic call, the manipulator wins. They realize that no matter how strong your boundaries are, all they have to do to break them is pull the emergency lever. If you respond to a fake crisis, you reset all your progress back to zero. You teach the predator exactly how to bypass your security system. But how do you tell the difference between a real life or death emergency and a psychological trap without risking someone's safety? There is a strict, logical protocol used by crisis negotiation teams that protects your boundaries while ensuring total safety. To neutralize a manufactured emergency without losing your humanity, you must decouple your response from the manipulator entirely. You must apply the tactical verification. If they claim to be in a medical crisis or an accident, do not call them back. Do not text them asking if they are okay. Instead, call the official third party immediately. Call the hospital, call the police, or call a family member who is physically present. Say with, I received a report of an emergency regarding this person. Please send an official unit or verify their status. If the emergency is real, professionals are now handling it, which is exactly what should happen. If the emergency is fake, you have just done something catastrophic to the manipulator's strategy. You have exposed their lie to official third parties or authorities. When the manipulator realizes that their crisis didn't get your attention, but instead brought a police car, an ambulance, or an angry family member to their door, their matrix completely collapses. They will realize that you are no longer a target that can be played with. You have become an absolute fortress. You are too dangerous to manipulate because every hidden trap they set for you now blows up directly in their face. You have reclaimed your reality, you have protected your mind, and you have won the war in absolute secret. Stay sovereign, guard your awareness, and never let them see your mind bend.